Okay, so I've got this little program here to practice rotations. And the idea is I have this little spaceship. It'll come up in a second. And the idea is whatever default orientation it has, I want it to try to keep that rotation. So if the spaceship gets like knocked off a little bit, I want it to slowly kind of float back to place. That's kind of the user experience I want. So that when it gets like pelted with laser shots or like explosions go off or whatever, you're going to see the ship rock and forth, but it's going to go back after a couple of seconds. And the greater it's knocked off, the more powerful the force it's knocked off, the longer that's going to take. If it gets hit a second time or it gets like sustained hits, it's going to keep going off rotation. It's going to take you a while to go back to normal, and a lot of your controls are going to be lost during that time until it gets back to its normal heading. Okay, but for that to work, I need to use the rigid body to rotate my ship, and I'm having a hard time doing that. So here's what I've got right now. We've got this ship, and if I just change its rotation here, like that, we see that it does float back into place. And its speed is kind of slow, but I've set it that way. We can set all the rotations here, and they all kind of slowly rotate back into place. So that's working perfectly. The problem that I'm having, whoops, well, this is another part of the program. It's going to use waypoints and navigation and so forth. But the problem that I'm having is that when forces hit the ship, those forces seem to stay with the ship in some way I can't describe. I guess it's some kind of torque force acting on it, but the MoveRotation function doesn't seem to be helping to stabilize anymore. The torque is just too much, and nothing is ever countering that torque. I find this very confusing. And yeah, that's kind of where I am with this right now. I'm just making this video to kind of share that, and again, to practice making videos, and to notice my stuff is opening in the wrong place. Okay. So if I go here to MoveRotation, the Unity docs are kind of confusing here. Well, it's not that they're confusing, it's that they're sparse. MoveRotation resulting in a smooth transition between two rotations and any immediate frames rendered. Okay, it doesn't seem to be doing that. It certainly doesn't rotate between two rotations. There's another function that does that. It seems to do that. Okay, this should be used if you want to continuously rotate a rigid body in each fixed update. I'm not really sure I do, but I'm trying to use this to rotate toward that desired heading, and that seemed to work. It seemed to work when I was manually switching the rotations. It seems to work if MoveRotation moves it out. However, when an actual collision happens, well, this is what I get. Yeah, it's still going. And so this MoveRotation function isn't going to help me, it looks like, which is odd. Used to rotate a rigid body, complying with rigid body's interpolation setting. That sounds good. I don't quite know what that means. Resulting in a smooth transition between two rotations. Set rigid body.rotation if you want to teleport a rigid body from one rotation to another with no intermediate positions. That certainly doesn't sound like what I want. And it makes it seem like these are my only two options. MoveRotation or or rigid body.rotation. Because I've seen a number of documents here where you're not supposed to use transform.rotation. And I'm assuming that applies to things like transform.lookat and things like that. You want to rotate using the rigid body for proper physics. But I'm not sure how to do that. And I'm especially not sure how to do that in regards to collisions and stuff. I had just gotten it working with my own rotation. So unless I want to make my own collision system and just not use the physics, then what was the point of this? I don't know. I'm missing something. So I'm making this video in hopes of casting this out there and, I don't know, seeing what happens. But yeah, this is where I've gotten with my little experiment so far. Hope you liked it, I guess. Thanks.